Welcome to the weekend edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. I'm your host, Metal Mike, and today we're going to talk about my updated top 5 free agents list by position. We're also going to talk about all the news coming out of the world of football since the Tuesday episode with me and John, and we also have the updated draft order list. Before we get into everything, I'm going to ask you guys to please head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast after the show and follow us on social media on X, TikTok, and now on Instagram at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit the follow button over on YouTube. You're going to hit the subscribe button. That's how you follow. You're also going to follow on the Twitch channel. All the links to all of our social media bios are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one that you desire because I know not everybody uses all social media platforms. And make sure that you're hitting the follow button, helping us build the Huddle Hub Podcast going through the rest of the 2026 NFL offseason and beyond. All right. So before we get into everything, I'm going to say this. I know that when there's a bunch of podcasts out there, and a lot of them are fans, just like us, that do shows almost just like this, and like me and John do on Tuesdays with our list, okay? And then there are personal lists. We're fans, so we're going to give our opinion and our thoughts and how we feel about things and where we feel like we see teams at the moment, as far as rankings and everything like that. And we did a ranking system on Tuesday of our top 5 teams coming out of week 1 of free agency and our bottom 5 teams coming out of week 1 of free agency. And we're obviously going to be doing that in week 2 as well. I mean, I know free agency hasn't been as hot as week 1 was, but we're still going to have those lists. Okay. And I'm going to say this, the response that we've gotten for these lists have been phenomenal. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody who is helping us build this brand every day. Every day. We went over the statistics on the Tuesday show, and all across social media, over 360,000 views on social media in year 1 of the Huddle Hub Podcast. And that is much appreciated. Because there's brands and channels that don't get that. And for us to get it in year 1, the followers we got, the subscribers we have, and you guys helping us build this thing from the ground up has been so amazing. And we appreciate it so much. So much. So, and I know I sound like a broken record, and I come on the show and say these things probably every time. But I sit back and think about when I'm building a show for us on the weekend edition and for us on a Tuesday night, along with John, it's just sitting back and thinking about, man, this thing is starting to kind of go in the upward, and it makes me happy, makes us happy, and we appreciate you guys every day. So yeah, speaking of list, top 5 free agents by position. Okay, now I'm going to say this right now. This list is not accurately updated. Why? Because moments after I made this list, players got signed. And I didn't go in and fix this thing. I'll admit that. And I'm not going to sit here and do it while we're here today. So I will fix it after the show today and have it updated for Tuesday. Because my first list, I had 29 players out of 65 get signed from week 1. 29 of 65. That's more than half. More than half. Well, a little under half. Because 32 and a half would be half of 65. So a little under half. But still, I had 29 players on my free agents list as far as top free agents. So, but I will say which players got signed off this list, and I could probably go in and fix this thing real quick. I could. That's what we'll do. We'll fix it really quick, because the one player at one position was the number 5. So we'll fix that on offense, and then we'll go into the defensive one and fix that one as well. So, because two edge rushers, and they're at the top of the list here. So, give me 1 second. I'll fix this real quick. That's offense. That's defense. I also got to fix numbers too, because obviously my number 4 now goes to number 2, and my number 5 goes now to number 3. And it takes 2 seconds to fix. So we'll fix it here. Okay, bam, bam, and there we go. We are done. We are fixed. Great. We're fixed. So let's bring this scroll back up. Okay, on offense. All right. So I mean, and again, this is a fan's list. This is my list, my personal feelings on who I think is a top player on free agency right now, who I think will still be signed by the time we get to the draft in a month, OTAs in 2-3 months. So without further ado, the new quarterback list updated. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco, Cooper Rush, Skylar Thompson are the 5 quarterbacks on my list that have yet to be signed. At running back, Najee Harris, Kareem Hunt, Joe Mixon, Brian Robinson, and Zamir White. Okay, if you don't know who Zamir White is, Zamir White was the backup running back out in Las Vegas for the past 2 seasons, and he is now a free agent. So he actually made a slight impact in Las Vegas. He showed some promise, and I think he's going to fit very well in any running back room, wherever that may be. But Zamir White is on this list. At wide receiver, Deebo Samuels, Tyreek Hill, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Cooks. And then Christian Kirk was on this list. Christian Kirk got signed to the San Francisco 49ers moments after me and John started the Tuesday episode. And John had told me, hey, just to let you know, Christian Kirk, he signed with the 49ers a few moments ago. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So I just did this list today, and Christian Kirk got signed moments before we went on air. So he's on the list of signees now. So that's 1 down off of this list. So brand new list already, 1 player. At tight end, David Njoku, Zach Ertz, Donald Parham, Will Dissly, and Jonnu Smith are the tight ends on my list. As far as offensive linemen, I'm going to add in tackles, centers, and guards all at once. I'm just going to run down this list. Justin Skull, DJ Humphries, Cam Robinson, Jack Conklin, Taylor Decker, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, Mekhi Becton, Ethan Posick, Greg Van Rotten, Lloyd Cushenberry, Graham Glasgow, Austin Corbett, Ryan McCollum, and Danny Pinter. Those are all the offensive linemen on my list. None of them yet to be signed. I'm sure that'll happen in the next couple days as teams are going to start trying to add on to their offensive line, because we have some teams that need to build their offensive line. Obviously, Cleveland, all their starting offensive linemen became free agents. They're still building out offensive line, and I feel like they're going to go on this list sometime this week and start putting these guys there. I mean, we're going to go over the draft order. They have a pretty good draft positioning to be able to go in and get some offensive linemen to bring in as well. So Cleveland's in a very, very good position right now. Very good position, I think. As far as defense and special teams, edge rusher Joey Bosa, Derek Barnett, and Cam Jordan. I also had DJ Wonnum on this list, but he has signed with the Detroit Lions, 1 year, $6 million. And then AJ Epinesa, who signed a 1 year, $5 million deal with the Browns. Okay, so those 2 guys off of my list. Again, made this list on Tuesday, restructured it because the other list, 29 players off. So had to redo the list and add players on and move players around and all that stuff. So defensive tackles, DJ Reader, Calais Campbell, Sheldon Day, Mike Pennell, and Brandon Graham. At linebacker, Bobby Wagner, Christian Roseboom, Jerome Baker, Devin White, and Jalen Revis-Maben. Okay. Bobby Wagner, I'm surprised that he's still a free agent. I mean, I know Bobby Wagner is up there as far as years in the league. He's in his 30s. But I still think Bobby Wagner is an impactful linebacker. And any linebacker room that he ends up in, he is going to make an instant impact in. So we'll have to see where Bobby Wagner ends up. But I think Bobby Wagner should be off this list this week. And that's just my opinion. At cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore, Trevon Diggs, Jimmy Ward, Avonte Maddox, and Jeff Okudah. Okay. At safety, L'Jarius Sneed, who's also a cornerback, Miles Killebrew, Jordan Poyer, Marcus Epps, and Chuck Clark. And then at kicker, Matt Prater, Joey Sly, Daniel Carlson, and at punter, Matt Ariza and Bradley Pinion. Okay, so those are the special teams on this list as well, and defensive players on my updated top 5 free agents list. So we'll have to see what happens going into week 3 of free agency. We are already in week 3 of free agency, which is nuts. How fast it is going. Just, I don't know. I don't want to say surprises me, but it's just baffling how crazy fast it is going. I mean, the NFL draft is legitimately a month and a day away from kicking off. So April 22nd is night 1, round 1 of the NFL draft. So it's crazy. So, all right, guys, we're going to get into the news. The news of free agency. We just have this listed as free agency right now because a lot of the news is free agent stuff. Okay. So we're just going to title this free agency for the time being until we get back into it just being news coming out of the league. So, or coming out of the world of football, I should say, because we do cover college news. We do cover the UFL. We're going to cover the International Arena League. I know the International Arena League had some meetings and stuff this weekend. A lot of press conference stuff going on, getting ready for their kickoff on April 19th. So, yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye out for more news coming out of the International Arena Football League. But as I mentioned, DJ Wonnum, edge rusher, has signed a 1-year, $6 million deal with the Detroit Lions. I think this is a very good pickup for the Detroit Lions. This is going to help tremendously on that defensive line. As we know, Detroit, they struggled a little bit on defense in 2025. DJ Wonnum, I think, is an impactful player who's going to go in on day one and help out tremendously on that Detroit defense. Linebacker Logan Wilson, former Bengals and Cowboys linebacker, announced that he is going to retire. So good luck in your retirement. Enjoy retirement. And yeah. So wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, formerly of the Indianapolis Colts, has decided to retire as well. T.Y. Hilton, a big name in the NFL, as we know, deciding to retire. So again, good luck and enjoy retirement. Akeem Davis-Gaither, linebacker, has decided to sign with the Colts. Now, Akeem Davis-Gaither, he's a very well-known name. I believe he played for the Bengals a couple years, and I didn't get to sketch up too much on his history of who he played for, but the name is familiar, and I've seen him. I know I've seen him play a couple times. I just forget what team he played for. I believe it was the Cincinnati Bengals. I could be wrong on that, and I'm going to look that up. So, watch me be right. I'd be so happy to be right. Oh, I'm right. Yeah, I'm right. 2020 to 2024, Cincinnati Bengals, and then the Arizona Cardinals in 25, and now he's a Colt. So I was right on that. See, I knew the name. I knew the name. So the Eagles and Panthers made a trade this week. The Philadelphia Eagles are receiving quarterback Andy Dalton, and the Panthers receive a 2027 7th-round draft pick. I found it very funny in the media and on social media questioning why Philadelphia made this move. And then there was the skeptics out there that were like, oh, so the Eagles are going to move on from Jalen Hurts. No. Andy Dalton has been a backup out in Carolina, a very reliable backup out in Carolina for the past few years, okay? Andy Dalton is not going to Philadelphia at his stage of his career and becoming the starter. The Eagles are not moving on from Jalen Hurts. I know there's been a lot of chatter about Jalen Hurts being the problem in Philadelphia and that maybe the Philadelphia Eagles should move on from him and stuff like that. No, it's not happening. Andy Dalton is going in there. He's going to be in the backup role, unless, by freak accident nature of anything, Jalen Hurts goes down, then Andy Dalton will be in play. Okay, Andy Dalton is going to be in the position that, Kenny Pickett was in 2 years ago. Okay, that's what Andy Dalton is going to be doing in Philadelphia. So relax, people. He's not going to Philadelphia and becoming the starter. There's not going to be a resurgence in Andy Dalton's career. Okay, that's that. He's a backup. He's going to be a backup there. So I will be shocked if all this chatter about moving Jalen Hurts actually happens and Andy Dalton becomes a starter. I don't see it. I don't believe it. I don't think it will happen. So relax. Nick Westbrook-Akine, wide receiver, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, has signed with the Indianapolis Colts. AJ Epinesa, linebacker, signed a 1-year deal, $5 million with the Cleveland Browns. So, so Cleveland working on their defense some more, bringing in AJ Epinesa. Cornerback Kindle Vildor signed a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots. Running back Damian Pierce, formerly of the Houston Texans, signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. So there was a couple questions about this. Some people asked me, why do you think the Eagles went with Damian Pierce? Well, because they need another backup running back, and that's that. They have Saquon, they have Will Shipley, AJ Dillon's out. Insert Damian Pierce. Damian Pierce had a lot of potential coming into the league. He did. Injuries kind of, crept up on him and gave him some problems. And now he's an RB2, RB3. He's going to probably be an RB3 in Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia also has Tank Bigsby this year. So Tank Bigsby will also be in that mix. So, I don't know what role Damian Pierce is going to play. I mean, he may not even be on the team come the start of the regular season. We got, a lot of these signings that happen, you see it come training camp, guys get cut. So Damian Pierce may even end up on the free agent list by week 2, week 3, week 4 of training camp. Who knows? It's depth right now. They're trying to fill a 75, 85-man roster, and then we break it down to 53 by the time we kick off in September. So I don't think it's a big thing with Damian Pierce coming into Philadelphia. There's a chance he may not even be on the roster come September. So Taylor Pepper, long snapper, has formerly of the San Francisco 49ers, has signed with the Miami Dolphins. I'm trying to just get the signings together, and then because we got some new stuff to talk about, and we're going to talk about this stuff in length, but I'm just trying to get through the signings of this week. Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver, and Devin Witherspoon, cornerback of the Seattle Seahawks, they exercised their 5th-year options. So they're going to get their 5th-year option pay, and then next year when they, when their contracts come up, they'll probably get offered big contracts. I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Smith and Jigba gets offered a contract in the next couple days. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't. So, but yeah, they have exercised their 5th-year options. The Eagles and Falcons made a trade. The Eagles and Falcons, they swapped 4th-round and 6th-round draft picks, and then the Falcons are receiving defensive back Sidney Brown. So Sidney Brown heading out to Atlanta now, being part of that defense backfield, and then they swapped 4th and 6th-round picks. So just positioning in those rounds between the Eagles and the Falcons. Jake Bobo, former wide receiver of the Seattle Seahawks, signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Nick Hampton, linebacker, has signed with the Panthers. So, so those are all the signings that we got to get through here on free agency. Now, some of the new stuff that we're going to talk about. First off, Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle of the Raiders. He said that he fully intends to play in 2026. He is rehabbing a foot injury that he's been dealing with since basically the middle of the 2025 season. But he has full intentions of playing in 2026. I mean, look at it this way. He's got some time to rehab the foot. Yeah, is it a setback in a sense because he's got to kind of keep up with the schedule of things. Okay, so right now they're not in the building. They're not doing any type of workouts or anything except for going into the weight room and building up muscle and all that stuff. They're doing the weight room stuff. Soon we're going to get into the part where they are on the field and start doing work, okay? Now, Christian Wilkins, does he have time to get up to the point where he's on par with the whole team? Yeah, but the concern, I believe, is that there's going to be a little bit of a setback. Christian Wilkins has been in this league for a little bit. Okay, so I don't think Christian Wilkins is going to have a setback. I think he's going to be just fine. Raiders fans, be excited. He'll be on the field in 2026. If he says he's going to be on the field, he gets cleared, he's going to be good to go. And he's going to be on point with the rest of the team. So, Trent Williams, offensive lineman of the San Francisco 49ers, is team is not opting on the $10 million bonus, which means Trent Williams' salary cap will now grow to $47 million in 2026. Dang. So, 49ers, I mean, they're spending the money, keeping him around. Obviously, he wasn't a free agent this year, but, you know, they didn't take the $10 million bonus. They didn't. They let him keep it. I mean, when you have a player that's been committed to your team for so long and those opportunities come to where you can earn some money back from a player's bonus, but you know that player is dedicated to your team, do you really want to take that, as they would say, food off the table? Do you? No. And if I was the 49ers, eat the $10 million. Yeah, his cap grows up to $47 million. But next year, you're going to get, I believe it goes up to like $357 million in cap space to cover things. You're going to be fine. 49ers are going to be fine. So, Abdul Carter, edge rusher of the Giants, he is changing his number from 33 to 3. So anybody who went out and bought an Abdul Carter jersey and has the number 33, well, you can rip one of those threes off because he's going to be now wearing the number 3. I didn't have any notes for social media stuff today. I figured as of late, everything has been on the fly posting, and I haven't really cut too many videos from the shows the past couple days. So I told myself this morning, I was like, Mike, cut at least 2 videos. No matter how stupid they are, just cut them. Just cut videos, and who cares? So, I can't deal with that now. All right. So yeah, I told myself I would cut videos today. No matter how ridiculous they are. Like, I'm going to cut the video on Abdul Carter changing his jersey number. I am. I don't care. So, the Cleveland Browns have proposed a rule to let teams trade draft picks 5 years out, opposing to 3 years out. So, which means right now, teams are able to trade draft picks in 2026, 2027, 2028. Okay? Now, the Cleveland Browns are proposing that it's a 5-year span. So 2026, 7, 8, 9, and 30. And if the league agrees to doing this, then we could start seeing trades happening and draft picks from the 2030 draft being made. Okay? So Cleveland trying to get this proposal done. I think it would help each team and it would benefit every team because you look at it this way. Some players and some teams are looking for a certain stock on a player. For example, the Eagles right now, they're looking for a first and a second round draft pick for A.J. Brown, right? So say the right team comes along, but they don't have that stock. They have the first rounder or they have the second rounder, but they don't have the first round. Now it's like, okay, we don't have the first rounder for 2026, 27, 28, but we can dig into our 2029 and 2030 draft picks. So, you know, if Philly would decide to say, hey, okay, yeah, we'll take your 2029 first round draft pick, that works out great because contract for this player is coming up. And that gives us enough time to evaluate this player and say, hey, okay, we got this draft pick coming up. We got the extra first round. We're in a good position. Can we re-sign him? Can we let him go? So I think this is actually a really good idea. Cleveland proposing this, and I kind of hope that they decide to do it. I do. I really hope that the league says, let's do it. So Cleveland proposing a 5-year head span. So we'll have to see if that ends up happening. The NFL draft is in Pittsburgh, okay, which kicks off on April 23rd, Thursday night, April 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, the Pittsburgh school districts have decided to close the schools from April 22nd to April 24th because of the NFL draft. I mean, you got to think of all the foot traffic that's going to be going through Pittsburgh from April 22nd to April 24th. It is going to be well over 1 million people going through Pittsburgh in the span of that weekend. Okay. So to keep things operating smoothly and safely, the schools are closing and the kids are going to operate remotely, which means, during COVID, they were at home, they were on their laptops, they, turned on the camera and they did class remotely. They didn't go into the school because of the pandemic. Well, schools still continue the remote process. For example, where I live here in Pennsylvania, when we have snow, instead of saying, hey, the kids are going to have off today, we're going to do remote for half a day. So they have to log into their computer and we're going to do it that way. That way they get their stuff in, they get all their work that they need to do. And when they come back, they can hand it in. And that is what Pittsburgh is doing here. I think this is a very smart move on Pittsburgh's part to keep things moving smoothly in the city with the NFL draft coming up. So great move on the city of Pittsburgh's part. I think that's all we got on news here. So yeah, that's it. It's going to be a quick show today, guys. I have a feeling we're going to be off air in the next 10 minutes. I don't see us going the full 60 today. We're going to take 30 seconds. We do have one more segment to go as we move very fast here on the Saturday edition of the Huddle Hub podcast. But we're going to take about 30 seconds here. We'll be back after this. Okay, so make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Hub podcast over on social media after we get off air here today. You're going to follow us over on X, TikTok, and now Instagram at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that subscribe button over on the YouTube and hit that follow button on the Twitch channel at the Huddle Hub Podcast as well. All the links to all of our social media bios are in the bio of the Twitch channel. You just click on the one you desire to go to because I know not everybody uses all social media platforms. Okay. And help us build the Huddle Hub podcast going through the rest of the NFL offseason and beyond. So I always try and work on my timing of that for us to get back, come back. And it's weird. I know it's stupid. So stupid, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, guys, we got the NFL draft coming up April 23rd through the 25th. Okay. And we're going to go over the updated draft order list real quick. Because obviously with trades happening in free agency, teams moved around. Some teams moved around. And I'm going to say this right now. I did a practice. Obviously, we're going to do our mock drafts here in the next couple weeks. You know, we're going to do at least 2 versions of a mock draft here. Last night, I was kind of bored. I decided, hey, I'm going to do a practice mock draft. Okay. And you're probably going to think I'm crazy for this, but I think the New York Jets, in the position they're in right now, at the top of the draft board at number 2, I think might be able to move that draft pick around a couple times. I do. It's weird. It's weird how I did it, and it's weird how it kind of works. But I think the Jets could earn some draft stock by moving that number 2 pick. I do. Now, I'm not going to give you guys my practice, I'm not going to go over my practice mock draft because it's an unofficial thing. But I'm going to say this right now, looking over how I did it last night, I feel pretty confident that this might be my 1.0. It might be. It might be. But let's go over to the draft order, the updated draft order real quick for the 2026 NFL Draft. At number 1, the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 2, the New York Jets. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals. Number 4, the Tennessee Titans. Number 5, the New York Jets. Number 6, the Cleveland Browns. Number 7, the Washington Commanders. Number 8, the New Orleans Saints. Number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs. And at number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, so that's the updated draft order. Now, I'll say this. I think the New York Jets, again, they can move that number 2 pick around a couple times. Okay, now, I will tell you this. In my practice draft, they traded their number 2 to the Cardinals. So the Jets and Cardinals ended up swapping. Okay. Then the Browns and Jets ended up swapping because the Browns are originally at number 6. So that had the Jets moving down to 6. Then I had the Jets and Commanders swapping 6 and 7. Okay. Then I had the Chiefs and Jets swapping 9 and 7. Then I had the Dolphins trading up from 30 with their trade that they got from the Broncos, ended up trading with their number 30 to move up to that 9 spot. Okay. So I have the Jets moving that draft pick around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the top 10. Okay. And then, oh, no, never mind. They swapped the number 11 with that number 9. And then at the 11 spot, the Dolphins moved up from 30 to 11 again. Okay, so the Dolphins traded their 11 for the 9 with the Jets, and then the Jets sitting there at 11, the Dolphins said, okay, we'll move up and go up to 11 again with the Jets, and we'll trade. So I think the Jets can earn some huge draft stock with this number 2 pick by moving around a couple times. I do. And it may be out of left field to think this. It may be. But you never know what happens. And, I mean, with the Jets having, I believe, 2 first-round picks, yeah, they're at number 16. The trade from the Colts from last year, the Sauce Gardner trade. And then them having the number 2. They have 2 first-round picks this year. So move one around, earn some draft stock, and then the other one, make your first pick. So they initially make their first pick at number 16 and get a player that I think they'd want anyways. A player that they can get at number 2, they'll get at number 16. So, and then I have them sticking at the, sticking at the 29 spot because they had, they traded with the Chiefs as well, in another position here. So, and then, and then I had the Eagles. I think the Eagles can earn 3 first-round picks. So we'll go over that. But from 11 to 20, we have the Miami Dolphins at 11, the Dallas Cowboys at 12, the Los Angeles Rams by way of the Atlanta Falcons at number 13, Baltimore Ravens at 14, Tampa Bay Bucks at 15, the New York Jets at 16 by way of the Indianapolis Colts, Detroit Lions at 17, Minnesota Vikings at 18, the Carolina Panthers at 19, and then the Dallas Cowboys by way of the Green Bay Packers at number 20. Okay. Then from 21 to 32 Pittsburgh Steelers at 21, Los Angeles Chargers at 22, Philadelphia Eagles at 23, Cleveland Browns by way of the Jacksonville Jaguars at 24, Chicago Bears at 25, Buffalo Bills at 26, San Francisco 49ers at 27, the Houston Texans at 28, the Kansas City Chiefs by way of the Los Angeles Rams at 29, Miami Dolphins by way of the Denver Broncos at 30, New England Patriots at 31, and the Seattle Seahawks at 32. Now, I'm going to say this. I think the Philadelphia Eagles can earn 3 first-round picks in this draft this year. Okay, and I'm not just saying that because, that's the one thing I find very funny, and I explain this every show. Just because you see the Eagles flag waving back there, this is not just a Philadelphia Eagles podcast. We are talking about the world of football here. It just so happens I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I'm also a Philadelphia Phillies fan. As you can see, the Philly fanatic, the hat, everything. Yeah, I'm a Phillies fan. I'm from Pennsylvania. My teams are Philly teams. Okay, so, but this is an all-league type of thing. It just so happens that I figured out a way that the Eagles can end up with 3 first-round picks this year. They could. They would obviously stick around at number 23. But then I have them trading with the Kansas City Chiefs. Hold on. Let me get this right. I have them, actually the Miami Dolphins. I screwed that up. I have the Miami Dolphins. Because the Dolphins traded up that 3. Oh, no, the Dolphins traded up from the 11 to that. That. Okay. The Eagles and that was the Dolphins. Dolphins traded away with that. So I'll say this right now. Eagles pick at 23. Somehow I forget how I did this. The Eagles ended up with the 30th pick as well. And then the 31st pick is obviously what everybody's talking about, the A.J. Brown situation. And I think the Eagles trade A.J. Brown with the Patriots for that 31st pick. Okay. So the only 2 players I see getting traded, and this is just for my practice, the only 2 players I see getting traded in the draft is A.J. Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles to the New England Patriots. And this one might be a little weird and crazy to think about, but Alvin Kamara being traded to the Seattle Seahawks from the New Orleans Saints. So that's just from my 1.0. Well, not my 1.0, but practice. So I'll probably do a couple more practice runs with this thing in the next couple days, just to kind of get my ducks in order with my mock draft. So it would not surprise me if I do 4 practice ones today alone, because I have nothing else to do. I mean, play Fortnite, but that's it. So, but that's the updated draft order for the 2026 NFL first round of the 2026 NFL draft. NFL draft starting off April 23rd, Thursday night, April 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are working on a live stream to watch along for round 1, night 1 of the NFL draft. So it's most likely going to happen on TikTok. We had a pretty successful watch along for the NFL Honors Awards. So it seems like TikTok is going to be the place to be for the NFL draft for a watch along. So so that announcement will be made later on, closer to the date. We got a couple weeks to figure this out, but it's most likely going to be a TikTok watch along. So that's why make sure you're heading over to the TikTok and following over at the Huddle Hub Pod. So, but that's all I got for you guys today. That's it. Short show today, not long. If you want to follow me on social media, Metal Mike 714 is where you can find me, Instagram, X, and TikTok. I do TikTok lives. I do Fortnite lives, gaming lives on TikTok. Other than that, I don't do much on social media other than being on the show here every Tuesday night with John at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And right now during the off season on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, so that's it. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Take care of each other. Be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until Tuesday night, guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you then. Deuces.